Hello everybody, in this video I wanted to tell my version of the Avengers 2. I've started to write a script. I know some of you will not like it, and will try to only listen to the bad parts, because I'm young. I just want to set clear that I just do this for fun. You do not have to be so strict. This movie is never going to happen even if you like it, so don't worry. But don't get me wrong, you can like it or dislike it and tell me your opinion. I also know that there has been some recent news for the movie, okay? I know that. And I have been trying to follow the comics a lot. I've been reading and getting info. I just want to set clear that I do this because I want to and it's fun. Please don't tell me that I should stop doing this or something, or that I'm stupid. Now let's get to the movie. In a shield warehouse, in the remotest parts of the country, a helicopter was approaching. Baron Heinrich Zemo and his son Helmut Zemo got out. SHIELD agents started to defend the warehouse. The Baron and his son made their way, killing everybody. When Heinrich ran out of bullets, he wielded his sword and ran towards the enemy, secure of himself. He cut throats constantly, doing stunts, tricks, and even cutting bullets in the air. He grabbed the gun of one man, kicked him in his belly, and fired. Then he shot more people. His son was not bad in shootouts either. Zemo stole another gun and was now with Duel. He covered and moved to not get injured. His son threw a grenade at a gateway where he killed several soldiers. One man was going to shoot the Baron from behind, but he sliced his head off. There was another in his back, but his son saved him with a shot to the head. They came up the camera and took the briefcase they wanted and went by helicopter. There, Heinrich opened the briefcase and took the stolen Cosmic Cube gun. Yes, they just stole a Cosmic Cube gun from Hydra. The ones that SHIELD was keeping. You can see that in the Avengers movie, SHIELD had some Hydra guns, builded with the power of the Cosmic Cube. Well done, Helmut, said Baron Zemo to his son, while he, Helmut, his son, was removing his mask. Phase 1 is complete. Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra, replied the other. Nick Fury and Hank Pym appear walking down a hallway of the Triskelion. Hank was wearing his helmet to control ants, and these were carrying his luggage and equipment to his new work area. Nick welcomed him. His wife, Janet Van Dyne, was also helping to take things, very excited, and so did Ultron, the Ultron robot, without questioning. Nick and Hank were talking about ants and Ultron. This is the only and new Ultron 5, said Hank. Pym spoke with the ants and with Nick, trying to keep both conversations. When they reached the laboratory area, Pym took from his pocket a small hemisphere and left it in the ground, then pressed a button and enlarged its size. Nick laughed surprised, because all of this fascinated him. Nick asked if it was a small laboratory that became big or large that shrinked. Hank replied that it was a big one that shrinks, but he was studying and trying to discover how to use Pym particles to enlarge things. Janet and Hank looked happy. They talked about what they had achieved and how happy they were now. Pym told Nick he was working on an advanced version of Ultron called Vision. Ultron would have never been possible without Tony Stark. Tony Stark was walking in the Stark Tower with several Ultrons, reforming, cleaning, painting, and selling things around his work area where he builds all of his Ultrons. Jarvis, get used to some more company. You're all robots. I'm sure you have a lot in common, don't you think? I can make you a robotic girlfriend. I don't know, just some kind of joke about the robots. Yeah, I don't know, something like that. Anyways, Dummy came and gave Tony a cup of tea. I feel great to have you back, Dummy. I love that everyone has returned. Even Tony Stark is back. I feel much better. Really? Said Pepper behind him. Yes, and you helped me coming back and rebuild my life. They kissed, and yeah, I completely passed New York. I feel liberated. Yes, all we need now is a normal life without robots. The new ones are creepy. They remind me of the Mark 42. Don't worry, they will not attack you. They work with an artificial intelligence designed by Hank Pym. No, Tony, this is serious. We live with robots. The tower is full of robots. That is not true. And the camera points at Tony, like full of robots in his back, and Dummy arriving with another cup of tea. Tony, you have to remember that the Ultrons are robots and that they are not real people. Please, Pepper, do not ruin my day. I was so happy. Sorry, you're right. You're already complaining. Come on, tell him that I'm right, Jarvis. Okay, sorry. Let's see. What are your new projects? Well, tomorrow I will present Ultron 5 with Hank. In addition, the day after tomorrow, when I go with him, with his wife and Bruce to Wakanda, it is already confirmed that we will meet the famous Black Panther in person, although I already spoke with him by telephone. Well, talking about rebuilding, Jarvis, please? Doors began to open and showed a new, super cool Hulkbuster armor. Easy. Before you say anything, I decided to wear this armor only if my superhero alter ego is needed. The world needs Iron Man, but as I said, I will be him when exclusively when he is needed. But yes, it's still under construction, so I made a replica of the War Machine armor because the original belongs to the army and now is labeled tacky. It's in case Iron Man it's needed before the new and improved armor is finished. Wow, well, and tell me, who is Black Panther? He is Tony, Hank said by video conference. Hi, Hank. I see that you've arrived at your new workplace, your new work area. What are your first impressions? Good, very good. Janet and Pepper also started to speak. Tony started to assemble his War Machine armor. Hank said that he had to keep doing things and hung video conference. He told Ultron to do a few pictures of the plans of Vision, and he did it. Then he snapped his fingers and sent Ultron to clean everything. Meanwhile, in Williams Industries, Simon was in a meeting with Chen Lu at his side. The company was almost in bankrupt as his competence, Stark International, was stealing all of their customers. Simon tried to present some other ideas. Tony came flying around and looked inside. Simon rose from his chair and glared at him. Simon went away very sad from when he left the meeting. He was very sad, and Chen Lu told him that they could not let Tony Stark snatch everything from them. Look, Simon, I know Stark. I took the arc reactor from him. I can persuade him to work together. Tomorrow morning, I will go to see him. Yeah, okay, fine, alright. In a faraway place, in other dimension, Asgard, Thor was in the castle of his father. Then Odin came and began to speak. Then the topic of Loki came. Loki was in his cell, meditating. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he was in another dimension with the other. And he told him that he had convinced the big one not to kill him, but he was still indebted to him and had to end the human race. Loki replied that he was already in the case and had two trusted Asgardians working on it. Meanwhile, Amora and the Executioner were in the USA at a military base. The Executioner smashed the guards at the front door and then passed. They made their way till they reached a room full of computers and files. Amora only had to say the words Arnim Zola, and this file came to her hands. In Stark Industries, Chan, Lu, and Simon were trying to convince Tony to work together. Lu reproached him that he had taken the arc reactor from his chest. Jarvis informed Tony that Bruce Banner was waiting. "I have visited Simon. Sorry. Ultron, please, can you accompany our friend Simon Chan Lu to the output? Thank you." "You selfish pig. I will stay in the street. How can you—" Simon pushed Ultron away. "What you have done is not right. Mr. Stark asked you to leave, please." Bruce Banner went up and he began to speak with Stark. They talked about the Ultrons, the new armor, Chan Lu and Simon, and that Tony had recovered him from his panic attacks. Then the issue of Anton Vanko came. Tony told Bruce that he was the brother of Ivan Vanko, aka Whiplash, and was sending videos of threats against him. He put some of his videos on Threads. In one of them, he said he had an army of 55 men. "Another clown," said Tony. Okay, now spoiler alert from Iron Man 3. I'm actually not sure of putting this line here. But yeah, anyways, when you stop seeing this picture of Mandarin in the video, you can listen again, okay? Okay. So here goes. You think it's fake like the Mandarin? You think he's fake like the Mandarin? No, this is real. He has had bad backstory in Russia, but he doesn't scare me. Suddenly, all of the screams in the room dimmed, and then in one of the screens, Anton Vanko appeared, and he can hack my computers. He began to say he had big plans for him, and he would get all big fishes to run his plans, his life, and he will succeed. "You'll lose, Stark," said Anton Vanko, like Whiplash. "Well, he does not look like a clown. He looks quite professional." "Well, maybe. Do you think this could affect your recovery?" No, I don't. I'm handling it quite well, trying to ignore it a bit. I do not think that his plans for me are so big." Chandler and Simon arrived very angered at the Williams building. Simon was very stressed when they arrived. Suddenly, a man arrived accompanied by 5 men. "Hi, my name is Anton Vanko. I come here to make a major purchase. I want to spend $1 million on weapons and ammunition." Meanwhile, in the Triskelion, Steve got up from his bed, looked out the window, and remembered when he was in World War II. Then he looked at a photo of Agent 13 and smiled. With a smile, he said to himself, "Let's train a little bit." Janet put his combat suit, and Hank walked her to the training area. There they met the Captain America and shook hands. The workout room was very large. Some Ultrons appeared, and Captain America and Wasp were prepared. "Let's see what you can do," Captain America said to the Wasp. Suddenly, Janet shrinked and began to fly and shoot robots. Everyone was impressed. They both began to fight. Maria Hill and Hank were looking through a window. Hill looked at Hank. "What?" he asked. "Nothing. It just amuses me that your wife is harder than you, is rougher than you. But hey, everyone has their role. I just hope that Nick has not called you for anything else besides to investigate what you're investigating in building robots." Hank got angry and put his helmet on. Suddenly, hundreds of ants started to climb up the body of Maria. She took them off as she could. Angry, she was going to hit Hank, but suddenly he disappeared, and her robe fell. Hill looked back through the window, very confused, and saw hundreds and hundreds of ants crawling over the walls of the training room. Hank suddenly appeared out of nowhere and ran directly to a robot. This one shot, but he disappeared and did not get hit. He reappeared this time in the air and kicked him, sending him back several meters. He actually was not disappearing. He was shrinking and getting back to normal size. He grabbed its ankle and threw it against another robot with great force, destroying it at last. He shrinked, then attacked another, kicking him in the leg from behind. He got big and ripped its head. He went to another and punched him in the stomach, and another time in the face. One was going to shoot him, but Hank shrinked and shot the Ultron who had just been beaten by Ant-Man. Hill was amazed. Hank approached the window, standing on a flying ant. He laughed in her face as he pointed at her with his finger. Some ants wrote in the wall, "Ant-Man rules. Hill sucks." Other ants then got in the mouth of an Ultron and desactivated him. Hill took off more ants off her shirt. Janet destroyed some more. She went to Steve and said, "Enough for you?" Steve smiled. After Steve congratulated the couple for the great job they had done, Hank started to speak about his ability to control the ants and to size shift. Janet also explained. Steve then asked if Nick Fury really had called them only to contribute to science or for more things aside that. Janet and Hank looked at each other. "Captain, come immediately, please." Nick Fury was behind Captain. Nick took him to a secluded place and told him that Baron Zemo had stolen a powerful artifact in a shield warehouse. Steve said he remembered him from World War II and used to work with Arnim Zola. Nick added that a man and a woman with magical abilities had attacked a military base and had stolen a file of Arnim Zola, which linked the two cases. He added that these two men were Asgardians and that they were a threat. Steve told Nick his relationship with Baron Zemo. He was a Hydra leader. Last time they saw each other was in a Hydra base. Heinrich and Arnim were working with some chemical experiments. The captain felt a shield sword battle with the Baron. At one point he put his head in a pot with some liquid and sticked his mask with his face. The Baron fell to a lower floor. Arnim pressed the self-destruct button and the captain escaped. How could he have survived? He has to be very old, Cap thought. Meanwhile, in a remote place, the Enchantress and the Executioner met in a bar, Baron Zemo. They told him that Phase 2 was complete, and they gave him the dossier of Zola. He read aloud that Arnim was in a shield prison called the Vault, and that he was guarded by Ultrons. He read a subsection of Ultrons and saw that they were robots designed by Hank Pym that were butlers. They also could be used as a weapon. Baron Zemo said his plan would soon take shape. He said he also wanted to gather Anton Vanko, a powerful terrorist, Simon Williams, a weapons manufacturer, Chen Lu, a radiation specialist who works for Williams, and Tadeusz Ross, a general of the USA Army. He also said that the big day would soon come. So, yeah, that was it for Avengers 2 script part 1. Hit the like button if you liked it. Tell me your opinion, and yeah, see ya.